Assalamualaikum to Madam Huda. Today, my team would like to talk about corporate governance of Maybank. Before that, let me introduce myself and teammates. Me is Muhammad Abid Safullah bin Abdul Halim. My teammates are Fatin Shazurah binti Muhammad Saleh, Muhammad Haziq Imran bin Muhammad Hanafiah, and Siti Nur Ashafiqah binti Muhammad Fazli. Today, we would like to share corporate governance of Maybank that has board of director, team management, shareholder, and ethical issue. First, I will continue with board of director. They have 12 people in the board. The board was led by Tan Sri Datuk Sri Zamzam Zairani bin Muhammad Isa as a chairman, followed by Datuk Abdul Farid Alias as a CEO and Datuk R. Karunakaran as a senior independent non-executive director. And other 9 people in the board was independent non-executive director. That's all about the OD of Maybank that I can share to Madam and other people. Next, Fatin Shazurah will continue with the team management of Maybank.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to Madam Huda. My name is Fatin Shazura binti Saleh and my matric number is 01 DPM 19F2012. So today, I would like to present about Maybank Berhad Management Team. In Maybank Berhad, we have Business Management Team, Function Management Team, Country Management Team and Others Management Team. But first, let us take a look at Maybank Berhad Management Team in business. So in business management team, we have 4 groups, which is Group Community Financial Services, Group Global Banking, Group Islamic Banking, and Group Insurance and Takaful. In Group Community Financial Services, Datuk John Chong Eng Chuan is the Group Chief Executive Officer. He leads Group Community Financial Services, business growth, and strategic direction across the region, covering wealth management, consumer and branch, retail SME, business banking, and virtual banking. Next is Group Global Banking. Datuk Muzaffar Hisham is the Group Chief Executive Officer. In this group, they lead Group Global Banking business growth and regionalization strategy for services including corporate and transaction banking, investment banking, treasury, asset management, and client coverage. Meanwhile, in Group Islamic Banking, Datuk Muhammad Rafiq Merican is the Group Chief Executive Officer. He leads Group Islamic Banking franchise growth and regional expansion as well as oversees its business strategy, product development and risk, and Sharia compliant management. And lastly, in business management team is Group Insurance and Takaful. Kamaluddin Ahmad is the Group Chief Executive Officer. In this group, they drive and manage the overall strategy, growth and profitability of the Group Insurance, Takaful business across the region. So that is for the business management team, and now we continue in function management team. In function management team, we have 6 groups. First is Group Finance. Datuk Amirul Faisal Wan Zahir is the Group Chief Financial Officer. In this group, they lead the group's financial planning, budgeting, reporting, and recovery process, and manage the group's capital and funding to ensure sustainable growth for the organization. Second is Group Human Capital. Datuk Nora Abdul Manaf is the Group Chief Human Capital Officer. She strategizes and curates innovative and meaningful human capital strategies, initiatives, and policy to develop and empower talent with high adaptability to drive sustainable growth and business performance. The third is The third group is group risk, which is led by Gilbert Conker. He strategized and led an effective enterprise-wide risk management framework for the group while implementing proactive and forward-looking risk practice to support its strategic aspiration. Next is Group Strategy and International. Mr. Michael Fong Seong Yu is the Group Chief Executive Officer. In this group, he developed the group's long-term strategy and drive its regionalization, digital and business development agenda. Also, lead in transform the group's international operation covering 13 countries. And next is Group Technology. Mr. Muhammad Suhail Amar Shureh is the Group Chief Officer. He leads and shapes the group's technology strategy towards delivering competitive business application, enhanced customer experience, and best-in-class digital security with agility and reliability. And the last group in function management team is Group Operation. Jeremy Hon Kah Cho is the Group Chief Operation Officer. He formulates and develops the group's operational strategy and oversees the efficient and effective delivery of services to support group's vision and mission. So that is for function management team. Next, we proceed with country management team. Maybank Berhad has branch in others country, which is in Singapore and Indonesia. And in Singapore, Dr. John Lee Hin Hock is the country chief executive officer. He leads Maybank Singapore's business growth and drives its strategy, branding and innovation development in line with the group's vision, mission and objective. And in Indonesia, Mr. Taswin Zakaria is the President Director of Maybank Indonesia. He established strategic policy, provides overall direction for Maybank Indonesia business operation, as well as directly supervise the development of Sharia banking business, oversee Maybank's subsidiary in Indonesia. And that is all for country management team. Next, we proceed with others management team, which is we have three groups: Group Corporate and Legal Services, Group Audit, and Group Compliance. First is Group Corporate and Legal Services. Wan Marzimin Wan Muhammad is the Group General Counsel and Group Company Secretary. He leads the Group Legal and Corporate Secretarial function and advises the groups on corporate governance practice and regulations. Meanwhile, in Group Audit, Nazli Abdul Hamid is the Group Chief Audit Executive. He leads internal audit in enhancing and protecting organizational value by providing risk-based and objective assurance, advice, and insight. Last but not least is Group Compliance. Alan Lau Chi Kiong is the Group Chief Compliance Officer. He oversees a framework to ensure compliance with law and regulation. So that is all about Maybank Berhad Management Team. Now I will pass this presentation to my friends. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum to Madam Huda and hi everyone. My name is Muhammad Aziz Imran bin Muhammad Anafia and my matrix number is 01DPM 19F2005. Next, I will explain about what is a shareholder. A shareholder can be a person, company or organization that holds stocks in a given company. A shareholder must own a minimum of one share in a company's stock or mutual fund to make them a partial owner. Shareholders typically receive declared dividends if the company does well and success. Also called a stockholder, they have the right to vote on certain matters with regard to the company and to be elected to sit on the board of directors. If the company is getting liquidated and its assets are sold, the shareholder may receive a portion of that money provided that the creditors have already been paid. When such a situation arises, The advantage of being stockholder lies in the fact that they are not obligated to shoulder the debts and financial obligations required by the company, which means creditor cannot compel stockholder to pay them. Next, the roles of shareholder. Being a shareholder is not only just about receiving profits, as it also includes other responsibilities. Let's look at some of these responsibilities. First, brainstorming and deciding the powers they will bestow upon the company directors, including appointing and removing them from office. Deciding on how much the directors receive of their salary. The practice is very tricky because stockholder must make sure that the amount that they will give compensate for the expenses and cost of living in the city where the director live without compromising the company's coffers. Third, making decisions on instances the directors have no power over, including making changes to the company's constitution. And lastly, checking and making approval of the financial statement of the company. Okay, next, I will show you the shareholder for the Maybank Banking Berhad. The largest shareholder for Maybank Banking Berhad is Permodalan Nasional Berhad, which is they have 34.9% share to the Maybank Banking Berhad. Second is Employees Provident Fund at 14.1%. Next, Bumi Putra Investment Foundation, which have 7.24%. Next is a Kumpulan Wang Persaraan at 5.04%. Then the Vanguard Group at 1.59%. And for the 6 is Great Eastern Life Insurance, which is 1.12%. And 7 is GIC PTE, which 0.84%. And for the Notch Bank Investment Management at 0.77%. And we have from Singapore also, it's Spring Investment 0.75%. And the lastly is AIA Berhad with 0.74%. That's all the list on Bursa Malaysia. Thank you.
So next is the ethical issue of corporate governance in Malaysia. According to the KPMG survey, 89% of CEOs of public limited companies acknowledge that fraud had risen over the past 3 years. And in addition, in a survey conducted by KPMG Malaysia, which involved 100 listed companies in Malaysia, and 64% of the respondents believe that business in Malaysia cannot be done without paying bribe. Corporate fraud generally refers to illegal, fraudulent, dishonest, or unethical activities committed by a company through its directors or employees. For an example, the One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB scandal and other cases against the board member of Bursa Malaysia are the proof that fraud remains a concern in corporate governance in Malaysia. So the occurrence of fraud, corruption and bribery in Malaysia is giving the effect the corporate governance standard in Malaysia, And this is for the long-term effect. It also can affect the confidence of foreign investment to invest in Malaysia, which can affect the Malaysia economy. So this is why all organizations must have governance policies and structures in place to avoid corporate fraud. That's all from us today. Thank you.